Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the new Hyperkin Retron Ult. Let's get started. So Hyperkin unveiled this at E3 2019. In a nutshell, the Retron Ult is an N64 clone console with HDMI out. So this will play your N64 games in 720p on a new HD TV via HDMI. And it's pretty big news because Hyperkin is kind of at the forefront of this N64 clone console era. Now, while we don't have a whole lot of news on the Hyperkin Retron Ult, it has been creating a bit of a controversy in the emulation scene. So I'll try to keep this at a high level because Modern Vintage Gamer does a really good video of breaking down everything in detail. He's got a real good explanation, comparison, and everything, and I'm going to leave a link to that in the description. But at a high level here, essentially, the Hyperkin Retron Ult is using an emulator to run games, which means it's running games very different from the original N64. The original N64 would run them right off your cartridge. The Hyperkin Retron Ult, for example, will pull the ROM, so it'll dump the ROM onto the console. It's not going to play the ROM off the cartridge, it's going to play it on the console. So it's essentially just emulating the game. It's really no different than if you were to run a ROM on an emulator on your cell phone. And it's using Mupen64 Plus-Next, which is one of the more popular, it's a new one, and it's one of the more popular Nintendo 64 emulators out there. And keeping things at a high level here, emulation on Mupen64 is not perfect. So more than likely, not all the games are going to be compatible with this without some sort of issue. Now here is a list. This is Mupen64 Plus. The difference between Mupen64 Plus and Mupen64 Plus-Next, again at a high level, is Mupen64 Plus-Next, which is the one the Hyperkin Retron Ult is using, is optimized for performance on lower end devices. And again, that's keeping things at a high level. I'm trying not to get into too much detail here. But you can see this list and there are some games that are not compatible. And this is probably going to hold true for the Hyperkin Retron Ult. So that's pretty much the controversy in a nutshell at a pretty high level. In terms of whether or not this is going to be a good product, is a completely different story. If you're an N64 fanatic who wants the best experience on their TV, on their new TV, I don't know if this is the right way to go. There are things like upscalers that can convert your signal to HDMI, upscale it for a new TV, and you can use your old hardware. So you can use an actual N64, which are very common and not very expensive. Use this upscaler, which is expensive, and transfer the signal that way to HDMI on your new TV. And that way you would also know for game compatibility that's going to be compatible with pretty much all the Nintendo 64 games, considering it's using an actual N64. However, if you're looking for an affordable piece of hardware, if you don't have an N64, or maybe your N64 is on the fritz, or you just want something that you can use on an HDMI TV, then this might be a good option. Now, more than likely, Hyperkin is going to make this product affordable and easy to purchase. It's probably not going to be a massive investment. The only caveats here will be, first and foremost, it is going to be emulation, so the accuracy to N64 will not be there if you notice it. And the second piece is it's probably not going to be compatible with all N64 games. So you may see crashes, graphical glitches, and some games may just not work. But anyways, that's all I've got for today. So let me know what you think of the Hyperkin Retron Ult in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what other people think about this. For an HDMI solution for the N64, this might be a very affordable option. Anyways, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Thank you, everyone. Take care.